In TCG Pocket, I seem to come up against a lot of Charizard decks, and I also come up against a fair few Venusaur decks. However, I never really seem to come up against Blastoise decks. Now, looking at the 3 starter EX cards, you'd have to say Charizard is probably the best one. Venusaur is pretty good. Blastoise doesn't look as amazing, but he's actually really good. So I've built a deck that I think shows off just how good Blastoise can be, and if you can set your deck up in a similar way, I think actually Blastoise could be a really viable Pokemon to have in your deck. So let's go ahead and look at this Blastoise EX deck. If you enjoyed the video, leave a like, hit that sub button. We're on our way to 100 subs, me and George, so it'll be awesome if you can help us get there. Without further ado, let's have a look at this deck then. So here we are, here is the Stoys Boys deck, and it is pretty self-explanatory. There's a couple of different ways you can maybe mix this up, but this is how I'm choosing to run the deck for now. You're going to run 2 Squirtles, 2 Wartortles, and 2 Blastoise EX cards. Obviously quite straightforward in that sense. And then I'm running 2 Jigglypuffs and 1 Wigglytuff. You could, instead of doing that, you could just run 2 Jigglypuffs. You don't need to have the Wigglytuff in there. The only reason I've got the Wigglytuff in there, if the draws aren't going your way and you don't get yourself a Blastoise out there pretty quickly, having the Wigglytuff out there instead of just a Jigglypuff to do a bit of extra damage is kind of my thought process. So it means that you can be getting damage off while stalling with the sleeps and hoping to get some luck on the opponent getting some bad flips. But otherwise, it is pretty straightforward. I have gone and put 2 X Speeds, a Sabrina, 2 Professor Researches, 2 Misties, 2 Pokeballs, and 2 Potions. Now, I'm half tempted to take the X Speeds out of this deck, and I'll tell you why. Because realistically, obviously Jigglypuff is a 1-cost retreat, as is Squirtle, as is Wartortle. So if you're in a bit of a tight spot and you've got to bring somebody back, everyone apart from Blastoise is going to be a pretty cheap return. Also, obviously, Wigglytuff is too, so that's obviously a bit of a slightly expensive vibe on that one as well. But I'm half tempted, I won't lie to you, to maybe instead double up on the Sabrina and maybe, just maybe, bring a Giovanni. This will just allow you, obviously, to have a bit of dictation over what the enemy has out at the time, but also what damage you're doing, and doing a little bit of extra damage if you're still stuck on like a Wartortle or a Squirtle, and just getting a little bit higher damage out there. The sort of vibe with the Blastoise is that you get him to 160 damage per turn because you get a Misty off onto the Blastoise card, and then instead of him doing 100 damage with his Hydro Bazooka, you get that 5 energy onto him and he does 160. That's sort of the vibe. You use the Jigglypuff and the Wigglytuff out the front to sort of stall a little bit, gain a couple of turns till you get yourself a Squirtle line that's being built up, and you get some Misties onto them, hoping to obviously get the extra energy. If you do stick with just Jigglypuffs and you take the Wigglytuff out, then it means that all of your energy bar 1 every time you have a Jigglypuff out there is able to go on the Squirtle line. Obviously, having the Wigglytuff there means that you do need to have a 3 on there to do the attack, so you kind of work that out depending on how much energy you've got on your Blastoise at the time, how lucky you've been with your Misty flips, as to whether you actually end up using the Wigglytuff. That's why I'm sort of a slight 50-50 as to whether to include it. The other option, in my opinion, is you take out the X Speed, you take out the Wigglytuff, and you add yourself a Staryu and a Starmie. This is just because obviously Starmie only takes 2 energy to do 90 damage, and has the free retreat, so you wouldn't need the X Speeds anyway. That's one way of looking at it. What I'm going to do is I'm going to run the deck as is now, try it this way, and then try the slight changes to the deck and see which I think is maybe the better play. But the point of this video today is hopefully to see that Blastoise is good. Obviously, if I lose some battles, you guys will see, and we'll see if it's any good or not. Let's see if we can make Blastoise good. Okay, we have found our first opponent, and we are going to see if we can get any wins with this Blastoise deck. I do think it's a good deck. I think there's some good versatility with it, and there's good ways to slightly mix it up. As I'd said, obviously running the Wigglytuff, or choosing to run the slight mix and match of going for something different. But we do actually get ourselves a Jigglypuff, and then we get a Squirtle and Wartortle with a Misty and a Professor's Research. There's some good possibility here that we could actually get a nice little start. Obviously, if we can draw into a Blastoise as well, then we're looking real good. We're going to Professor's Research out the gate just to get some extra cards in our hand. Would be nice to get... we get a second Jigglypuff here. Okay, that's what we're going to do there. I'm going to play the early Misty, just in case... Oh, I can't play the early Misty because I played the thingy. Okay, if he does shuffle our hand, that would be a small shame. But we're coming up against what I can only assume is going to be a Koga deck with the Coughing, maybe a Muck in there as well. And obviously he's got the Ekans for the Glare. He has got a Grimer, so he's going to run that Muck line too. Going to get a little bit of early damage off on our Jigglypuff, which isn't ideal, but it's not the end of the world. I'm over it already, you know, it's not that dramatic. But we do draw a Blastoise as well. Okay, this is a really, really nice start for us. We're going to go ahead and put the War Turtle on, and we're going to use Misty straight away on the War Turtle to see what our coin flips are as to whether we can justifiably use an energy on our Jigglypuff. We do get at least one. We only get the one. That is a small shame. It's not the end of the world though, and I am actually going to try and get some luck with the sleeps here. I'm going to use the potion, and then we're going to use Sing just to try. I mean, if he evolves, then obviously it didn't matter anyway, and he's going to do 30 damage, 40 if he poisons us with the wheezing as well. So hoping that he stays asleep, it would be nice, just in case he doesn't have the wheezing, which he does, which is great. So we'll see if he does have the wheezing to get rid of that straight away. I'm hoping he doesn't, because it just gives us an extra turn to stall a little bit. We can Blastoise, we can Misty again. We'll have the energy from our actual energy pools, so it's looking okay. He's got some Evos on the bench already, but the main thought process here is obviously if we get Blastoise to the 5 energy, so he's doing 160, he can take out Muck, he can take out Arbok, he can hit for big damage. That is the vibe here. So we're going to use Misty again, and we're hoping for at least 2 would be quite nice. We do get 1. We only get 1 again. That is a shame, but we've gained 2 extra energy, which is nice. We've already got the 3 for Blastoise, which means that provided Jigglypuff can stall another turn or 2, we should be able to then bring in Blastoise and be hitting for 160 every single time. What I could have done there is retreat, actually. That was maybe the smarter play. I'm a bit annoyed that I didn't do that. I should have retreated. Yeah, that was stupid. Hindsight's 2020. He stayed asleep. That's okay. I mean, again, if he has wheezing, it wouldn't make a difference regardless. But the smarter play there was retreating, killing the coughing, and then he wouldn't have been able to hit me with Muck when he brings it in. But again, hindsight's 2020. That's fine. Stays asleep as well. We've been pretty lucky with these sleep coin flips. We do start our next Squirtle line, which is something. But again, we're still building up the Blastoise. So yeah, stupidly here. I mean, he's not going to be able to poison me if I bring in Blastoise. So that's going to be the play. Should have done this a turn earlier. And I think we maybe would have seen the concede, but that's okay. We do take out the coughing, so that's 1 point. We're going to have to take out 3 Mons because I highly doubt he's running any X's in this if he's got 3 full dark type lines. We're going to take 70 damage, which is a shame. I'm still annoyed at myself. I could have gone in here. If we'd been in this position last turn, we'd be fine because he'd be in here now with 2 energy on Muck, although he probably would have brought in Ekans or Arbok, sorry, so it wouldn't have made too much of a difference. But regardless, taking his time to see what he's going to do. I don't think he'll concede. He might obviously still have a way to come back from this. He's going to Sabrina. That's a pretty smart play. I'll put in a Jigglypuff. He does get himself a point, and it means that if he then can take the Blastoise out, then obviously it's he'll get the win. But it does, the downside to him doing that, for him at least, is it does mean that I then have a full health Blastoise out that's going to hit for 160 damage every single time. So a slight downside to that one for him. But we take out the Muck with a Hydro Bazooka here. Big hit, 160. All he's got is the Arbok to bring in that we can take out. I don't see a way that he wins from here. Because even if he Sabrinas me again, he's only going to get 1 point for the Jigglypuff. So I'm fairly sure, yeah, there's the concede. So that worked out really well. Obviously, we started with a really nice hand. We did go first, which obviously does kind of maybe counteract it slightly. But going first with a Misty deck isn't the end of the world. If you're running something like an Articuno, that first turn, if you get some good coin flips, can do like 40 plus damage to something. But we went first. We still got the win. And a nice, I think a pretty nice example that this deck can work. So we'll run it again. Okay, gonna go into game number 2. I'm gonna guess that we're gonna come up against a Mewtwo deck. I don't know why. I just feel like it's gonna be a Mewtwo deck. I could be very wrong. I kind of actually want to come up against a Pikachu deck, I won't lie to you, just to really test this the most we can. It's another water type deck, so it is gonna most likely be an Articuno and Starmie deck. That is my immediate guess. We don't get lucky with a Misty first turn, but we shall wait and see. Kangaskhan. Oh, okay, it's a Dratini deck, so it is going to be a Dragonite kind of vibe. We are going first, which is a shame. But let's Pokeball. I'm hoping we draw into a Jigglypuff. That'll be quite nice. The other Squirtle, not the end of the world. I'll probably end up setting up the Squirtle on our bench because all it takes is 2 coin flips going his way, and this Kangaskhan is going to absolutely kick our backside. Another Pokeball. And the other Professor Research. Wow, we are getting cards in our hand. That is for sure. Still no Misty, which is a small shame. But we're down to 10 cards in the deck after turn 1. So that's a positive at least. We've got a decent chance of starting to gift stuff. I'm curious as to whether he's gonna... Oh, and he's running Hypno. Wow. What an interesting deck. So he's not gonna be running any Psychic Energy. Because for those who don't know, Hypno's passive ability or active ability, I can't remember what it's called, means that you can put the opponent to sleep on a coin flip. So kind of smart to play. Bit of a risk, but kind of smart. Okay, only 1 heads, which means we do take 30 damage. So we do survive with the Squirtle this turn, but we are going to build up the Squirtle on our bench, that's for sure. We do draw into a Misty early as well, which is quite nice. So here's the plan. We Misty and hope to get 2 energy. Provided we get 2 energy, I think we then swap the Squirtle back, send out the Jigglypuff. We've been lucky with these. We get 2. I'm okay with that. I'm absolutely okay with that. So we actually, no, we don't take the Squirtle. I was going to bring the Squirtle back. I don't think that's a smart play. We're going to potion the Squirtle just so it heals up a touch. And then because we don't have Blastoise yet. Okay, we don't have Blastoise yet. So I'm gonna put the energy on the Jigglypuff to stall it out next turn. There's no point me double potioning because Squirtle either lives on 20 or it dies. Even if I put it to 60, so it is what it is. He's building up his Dragonair now, getting some energy on there. So it's the only issue with me stalling a little bit means that he does get to build up his Dragonite. This is a really interesting deck. He's got a lot of different sets of Pokemon. Obviously, Meowth can be good for helping you draw into cards. Just don't be double heads, please. Okay, that's a shame. It's all right, though. It's not the end of the world. I'm already over it. Squirtle goes down. He gets himself a point. And I'm in stall phase now. I have to start stalling. So we send out the Jigglypuff. If I draw into Blastoise with this Professor Research, I'm going to be slightly annoyed. Because I can't Misty this turn. I'm slightly annoyed, boys. I'll keep it real with you. I'm slightly annoyed. So, here's the play. Blastoise goes there. Do I want to sing or do I want to Wigglytuff? Do I want to know that I'll survive the hit? No, because then I've got a 2 retreat cost. No. Okay. We stick with the original plan here. We put it to sleep. We keep building up the Blastoise. That's the original plan. That's what we're going to do. We Misty next turn. Hopefully get some energy onto the Blastoise. He stays asleep, which is huge. Okay, this is really, really good for us now. This is really, really good for us now. So, here's the vibe. Here's the plan. Here's the play. He hasn't got a Dragonite yet, I don't think, which is obviously great news for us as well. But I think we're going to probably end up knocking out the Kangaskhan next turn with Blastoise. I think he'll then bring in Meowth. Hit us. Oh, no, he might not hit us for the draw. I was going to say he'll hit us for the draw, but I don't think he will. Okay, I just need at least 1 energy here with Misty. And we've been really lucky with our Misty flip. So if we don't get it, I won't be mad. But we do. We've had a heads on every single Misty flip so far. We have been very, very lucky. We're on the 5 energy. We're going to retreat with Jigglypuff here. I then actually will give the energy to Jigglypuff, and then I am going to evolve it. Because if he starts getting Dragonite out, the damage will be a lot. So we're going to Hydro Bazooka, get the Kangaskhan out of there, which is great news for us. Because the only other thing he can really damage us with now is the Dragonair, which he's not going to send out. He's going to send out his Meowth 100%. Next turn, I Sabrina, and he either gives up the chance of his Hypno, or he gives up his Dragonite, which I don't think he'll do that. Oh, he could now send out the other Tradini. This cough needs to go away. But interesting that obviously he's gone for the payday here. It does mean he gets an extra draw, which obviously could be helpful from getting his Dragonite, but it does delay a turn of him being able to do damage to us. So we're going to go ahead and Wigglytuff have another energy. I'm not going to Sabrina. I'm actually going to knock out the Meowth. Get rid of his ability to draw cards. So we Hydro Bazooka again. And unless he's drawn into Hypno and puts us to sleep, I don't see how he wins from here, because he can't get enough energy onto that Dragonair quick enough before I can take out another Pokemon. So unless he has Hypno and gets the coin toss, and then we don't wake up, we win this. That it is as simple as that. I don't see another way for him to win this now. And there's the concede. Back-to-back concedes, back-to-back, building the Blastoise up from the bench, bringing it out, and then just starting to hit with big damage. This is a really good counter to Charizard, because I'm going to double check. I'm fairly sure Charizard is 180 health. I think all of the starters have 180 health. So that means that as long as you get the boost to get him dealing 160 damage, you get the extra 20 damage to then take out a Charizard. Right? I'm fairly sure. Brain? Yeah, 180. So it's a really good counter, I think, to a Charizard deck. Obviously, if you get it to 160, yes, you're going to be weak to Pikachu EX, but you can take out Pikachu, you can take out Mewtwo, you can take out some other really like effective mons that aren't EXs, like Alakazam. I'm fairly sure you can take out Machamp as well. I'm fairly sure Machamp's 150, or have I made that up? Let me double check. Let me make sure I'm not lying to you. Wait, I do have a special Machamp card. There he is. He's 180. Okay, so you wouldn't be able to take out Machamp, but Machamp also likewise can't take you out. So you can do some big damage to a Machamp and sort of make sure you win that trade. You can take out Executor EX, which a lot of people are starting to run as well. With, again, your boost, you can take out a Dragonite in one hit. It really is, I think, a mon that's being massively slept on. I think Blastoise EX with Misty, and I will reiterate, and I said it before and I will say it again, we did get lucky with our Misty coin flips today. We landed at least one heads on every single Misty that we played in today's video. So do take that into account. We did get some modicum of luck in that sense, but I would still genuinely think in those two games that we played, we stalled well enough with the Jigglypuff. We were getting good coin flips. If we hadn't got the luck on the Misty, we still had enough time to start building up other things and start, you know, getting the energy onto the Blastoise anyway. We could have overkilled on the energy for Blastoise. If we didn't have that, I could have put 2 extra energy onto Blastoise in that last game there. Hit for 100 on the first one, still take it out. Hit for 100 on the second one, still take it out. And then that third hit would have been 160 and would have taken out anything, even if he had the Dragonite. So it really does just go to show that Blastoise maybe is being ever so slightly slept on. As I said, the way that I ran that deck, you could mix and match it a little bit if you either don't have the Jigglypuff yet, and if you don't, go get it done. Get the Venusaur stuff done, please, because it's such a good little card. Maybe you don't have Wigglytuff EX and you want to mix it up a little bit as well. I would recommend Staryu and Starmie. Just one line of that. I wouldn't say run 2. I don't think you need to run 2, but it just means that you get another line in there. Again, Starmie has a free retreat cost. 90 damage for 2 energy, again, is really, really good. But I think this is a really, really good way of running the deck. Again, X speed I might take out at some point. I would add another Sabrina, and then I'd maybe add a Giovanni, just in case there's anything that has 170 that then I couldn't take out. Obviously, Venusaur's got 190, so adding a Giovanni to that doesn't really make a difference. But just in case there's anything that 160 wouldn't kill, it probably is worth maybe having a Giovanni, because I'm just trying to see now, like, I don't think there is anything actually that I couldn't wipe out in one shot. I found someone, Gengar. I don't see too many people run Gengar, but you would, with a Giovanni, be able to take out Gengar as well. Machamp's on 180, as we said before. But yeah, I really recommend this. I think Blastoise is a mon that's being massively slept on. Blastoise EX is a good little card. And yeah, I recommend the Stoise Boys. If you enjoyed this video, please leave a like. Supports me, supports George, supports the channel, for the two of us, a whole bunch. Thank you so much for all the love and support on this. Again, we're trying to hit 100 subs, so if you guys can hit that sub button as well, that'd be massively appreciated. But for now, guys, I want to say a massive thank you for watching. I've been Tom. You guys have been awesome, and I'll see you very soon. Look after yourselves, and of course, wash your hands. Take care.
You